So next up, podcast listeners, Kari Lake roasts a CNN reporter. That's right. Kari Lake, ladies and gentlemen, is a candidate for governor of Arizona. And she gives a brutal message to a CNN reporter. So Republican Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake had a brutal message for CNN senior national reporter Kyung La outside of an event. La appeared outside of the event where Lake shook her hand and pointed out that she is not wearing a mask anymore, according to video Lake shared Thursday on Twitter. So I have to set this up. So La is the CNN reporter. She's Asian American, and she walks up to Kari Lake, who's running for governor of Arizona. Kari Lake, the Republican candidate. And so La walks up to her and, it's kind of sort of an ambush and starts asking Kari Lake a question. And as you all know, most Republican candidates that are out there, at least until Donald Trump, most Republican candidates, for the most part, were gracious with the press. They would push back a little, but they would always let the press get away with misrepresenting quotes and trying to play gotcha with questions. And Trump stopped that because he would basically say, "Oh, you're just a hack for this group or for that group, and you're just giving me these gotcha questions." Now, maybe Trump took a little bit too far, but let's face it. One thing is certain. Trump outed the press's bias. He was the first president of the United States, the first Republican to truly out how incredibly crooked and biased the press has become. And actually, that is so dangerous for our country. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have a new person that's out there who's done the same thing. We have a clip of Kari Lake speaking to Kyung La of CNN. You're going to love how this ends. We have the clip, and here it is.
Hi.
Kari.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Kyung La from CNN.
You don't have a mask on anymore. What's going
we're
on?
outside. Do you have a minute to
well,
chat?
we're 6 feet apart.
Do you have a minute to chat?
I'll do an interview.
Okay.
As long as it airs on CNN Plus. Does that still exist?
Yeah.
I didn't think so, because the people don't like what you guys are peddling, which is propaganda. Thank you.
That's involuntary servitude.
So the CNN reporter, her last name is La. You should have seen her face. Her face was like, oh my gosh. I mean, she was just bewildered because she had just been roasted, absolutely roasted by Kari Lake. And also, what do you say? Like, you're working for CNN, a company that's literally going belly up. And one part of CNN, their streaming service, and keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that streaming services like Netflix and Peacock and Amazon, I mean, this is where TV and video has been going for quite some time. And CNN is like the one company that can't even make it as a streaming service. So they cancel their streaming service after investing $500 million. They're barely even operating now on cable. I mean, hardly anyone watches them. And Kari Lake just roasts the CNN reporter. And the CNN reporter is just speechless, literally speechless. Is like, I mean, that's what Republicans need to do more of. They need to indeed provide interviews to the press. That's very important. We need that. But we also need the press to be called out when they are crooked. And we should do that reporter by reporter. And so at CNN, I really don't know any reporters at CNN who are fair, balanced. Any reporters at CNN who ever criticize the left just doesn't happen. And so I think that's fair game for Kari Lake to do that. But I also think more Republicans need to do this as well. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that includes calling out Republican outlets, conservative outlets or outlets that are to the right of center, like Fox News, although I doubt sometimes what Fox News really is. But when they make a mistake, when they're unfair, when they're crooked, when they're doing things that you disagree with, call them out for sure. So Kari Lake did an amazing job doing this. We need more of this. I think what it does is it gets the conservative base excited when they see candidates that want to fight. And I think this is the one thing that so many moderate Republicans moderate Republicans mind you have lost. They don't understand, moderate Republicans that is, that the reason Donald Trump became so popular was because he was willing to fight. He was willing to fight every battle. And one of the greatest battles of the 21st century is the battle against a very crooked press, a press that is corporate and truly been co-opted by big, huge mega companies, as well as maybe, to a certain extent, China. Okay, notice I didn't say Russia, because it seems so often to me that CNN is so invested in making money overseas that they're willing to throw the United States of America, where CNN is based, their corporation is based here, they're willing just to throw our country under the bus.